Okay, well, this is the part of the evening where we get to get some questions from the audience and have a good stack. Thank you all for your submissions. Probably won't be able to get through all of them, as you might imagine, but many of them fall into similar categories, so I look forward to your answers. One of the first ones that I thought I would start with was how do you perceive Presidents Bush and Obama and their reactions to the situation in the Middle East? Maybe contrast their foreign policies. Just thought I'd start with an easy one.
Well, frankly, I'm not competing for office with the Democrats or the Republicans. So therefore, I wouldn't like to get involved in this fray. But I would like to tell this audience about I don't know President Obama, frankly. All that I would like to say is that he has started from a very high pedestal. And when you start from a very high pedestal, it is that much more difficult to rise even higher. So that is what, and I wish him good luck. I just wish him good luck. On President Bush, I would like to say that he's been a friend. He's been a very good friend. He's been a very sincere friend. I know him to be a very sincere man. I know him to be a very upfront, straight talker. And that's what I like in him. Frankly, I did a lot of straight talking with him and he did a lot of straight talking with me, and I like this equation. And I like a person who listens straight and talks straight, and an extremely sincere man, and I cherish my friendship with him. There is no doubt.
Okay. This next question actually goes directly to President Bush and some of his doctrine. President Bush said to Congress, "We will make no distinction between terrorists and the countries who harbor them." This came to be known as the Bush Doctrine and marks the significant shift in U.S. policy. Do you agree with this approach?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, why should anyone harbor terrorists? This is the problem is of misunderstandings. There were some misunderstandings created. And I have told you one where I, in 2003 and 4, started going on a track of political track of reaching out to the Pashtuns in the tribal agencies of Pakistan. And this was misconstrued, that I am double-crossing and I am double-dealing, and that ISI and the army was double-dealing. This was not the case. Army and the ISI were doing exactly what I was telling them to do. And I thought that the strategy ought to be, as I have told you, reach out to the Pashtuns, wean them away from the Taliban. That was my way of thinking, and that's what I was doing. Now, unfortunately, that was misunderstood and misconstrued, and which has been proven over the time now. When we have to reach out on a political path, we have to reach out to they are calling it moderate Taliban. I am not agreeing with that, frankly. I am talking of, I think it is the Pashtuns who we are reaching out to. So, I think that we must understand issues correctly so that we respond correctly to those issues.
Well, this is a good way to get into the question about the secretaries of state. Does Hillary Clinton ever call you?
No, she hasn't, but I have met her in the past, about 3 times in the past when I was the president. But since the time that I'm out of office, she hasn't called me, and I haven't met her.
Condoleezza Rice was here a few weeks ago and spoke to our group, very well received. Can you give us any insight into conversations that you might have had with her, or how her policies may have affected?
I think, yes, I've met her so many times, and she used to come to Pakistan. And I think we had a good equation, except that sometimes going back to that previous question of yours, nobody wants to have an equation with terrorists. But what we need to understand, two things, yes, I would like to convey two things where the misunderstandings happen. When you talk of deals with the Pashtuns, in Afghanistan, when you talk of it, you should know that it has a strategic connotation. In that, you have to include the Pashtuns in governance in Afghanistan. They need to be maybe a dominant part of government in Afghanistan. But when you are talking of deals in Pakistan, it's very, very tactical. It's at a very small level. What are we doing when I am trying to talk to the Pashtuns in the tribal agency? Only that there should be peace and law and order in that tribal agency. Period. There is no strategic issue of their joining the government. Leave aside the central government, even the provincial government. So we must understand the two. There is a lot of difference between political deals on Afghan side and political deals on Pakistan side. This is one big thing. That is strategic. This is very tactical. The other thing, when you're talking of terrorists and dealing with them, unfortunately there have been problems because when you get involved, one is the strategic element of it. The strategic element is that we are together on the general direction that we have to defeat Al-Qaeda and we have to defeat Taliban. We have to deny the excess of the Taliban on Pakistan side with those on the Afghan side. So therefore our direction, our strategic direction is quite clear. But when you get involved in how to execute the tactics of it, there can be differences. If there is an A, B and C, all three of them may be enemies, maybe Taliban supporters. But if I adopt a policy or a strategy that I'm going to deal with A first and use B and C to deal with A, leave it to me how I do it. But if you start telling me, no, you leave that, you deal with B and C also. Now if I was to deal with A, B and C, I'm going to create a problem for myself. Maybe the troop requirement will double and triple if I did that. So what I'm trying to say in very indirect terms, leave micromanagement, leave tactics to us, to me. Deal with the strategic direction. Don't tell me what is the methodology of dealing and reaching the objective that we've set. I know better my own people, the environment, more than you. So leave it to us. So that was the problem that sometimes did get created. And that was the problem which led to a lot of misperceptions about me. I don't know, there must be some people sitting here who thought that I have double-crossed you, that I was double-dealing. No, sir, that's not the truth. My direction was clear, objectives were clear, but the methodology that I adopted was mine. Nobody dictates to me the methodology that I adopt, because I understand the environment and the people more than you. Leave that to me.